Finally, it's March. I can finally talk about the movies that I watched this month. This month, I watched 10 movies. I don't really know how to do an intro, so I'm just gonna get right into it. The first movie I watched was Dune. This was a rewatch. I just want to mention that. I first watched this movie in theaters when it came out. I thought it was really cool, but I had no clue what was going on. So I wasn't like a fan of it like how I am now. Because after watching this one, I immediately went and bought the book. And then the next day, I watched the second one in IMAX, which I will get into. I'm so glad I decided to rewatch it. And I knew from the start that this movie was just kind of a setup for this larger universe that was to come. But literally after I watched this movie, I don't know why, I just fell in love with it. Because my first rewatch, I was like, okay, it was alright. But when I rewatched it, I just loved it so much. Now for the second movie, I wasn't really too excited for it, but I planned to watch it. Me and my dad are the same way. If we start something, a movie series or TV show, we have to finish it. We knew that we were going to watch the second one, which is why we decided to rewatch the first one in preparation for part 2. And yeah, I'm just so glad that we decided to rewatch it because we felt the same way. The first time we watched it, we liked it, just didn't really get it. Second time we watched it, for some reason it was just far better. Dude, I'm not even kidding. I don't know where I would place it the first time I watch it, but this time watching it, easy 5 stars, dude. Oh, that's the wrong movie poster. Easy 5 stars. Okay, so now we get into Dune Part 2. I could not stop smiling when I entered the theaters. I'm not even kidding. I was just that excited. Like, I walked in, I was just cheesing the whole time, dude. It was just packed, bro. Like, I'm saying, this was the most active I've seen a movie theater. It was just so full. People were talking about the movie. Like, it felt like opening night for like a Star Wars movie in the 70s. Seeing this in IMAX with every seat filled up by an individual was just the best movie experience. That was a moment I will seriously cherish forever. I'm definitely going to cherish that moment forever because this was seriously one of the best movie theater experiences I have ever witnessed. And me and my dad, we went to go watch it, right? We got like some okay seats, but we wanted better, and so we realized at the way top there was like seats right directly in the middle where nobody was sitting. So we walked up like first 20 minutes of the movie. We just had the best seats in the house. It was awesome, dude. After this movie, I went to Barnes & Noble and picked up the book. And I'm still reading it right now and I'm loving it. I can't wait to pick up Dune Messiah to continue the story. I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I hope Dennis makes another movie. I mean, I've heard talks that there might not be a Dune Messiah, but I'm just hoping there is. Yeah, I've just been like on a Dune hyperfixation recently. I've seen many TikToks talking about the movie, edits about the movie, talking about the book. This month has just been Dune filled, and I'm so glad that I got into this awesome series. And I know what you're probably thinking. Wow, Buddy is actually glazing. Yeah, alright, so what if I am? If you haven't got into it already, what's stopping you? It's a really good series. This one was absolutely 5 stars, but I just didn't know which one I thought was better. I don't know if I want to put Dune 2 over Dune 1 because they're both equally as good. Seriously, still I don't know. I feel like they're tied. Literally, these are peak movies. If you watch it and you think, oh, this is like Star Wars, you're wrong, bro. This made Star Wars. And I can't stress that enough. I tell everybody this. I could make a whole video just talking about Dune alone, but moving on from Dune. Yeah, alright. This one was okay. This was definitely the weakest A24 movie I've watched so far, and it's not like I didn't like it. It kept me interested all the way through. I am an Elvis fan. I do like his music. I haven't seen the biopic about him recently. I did try to watch it this month. I watched the first like 20 minutes and I couldn't really watch it, so maybe in the next video you'll see me talking about it for my April video. I don't know if I'll finish it, but we'll see. Yeah, this was good. Wasn't awesome, wasn't like amazing. I don't have like a lot to say. Obviously the performances were awesome. Lady who played Priscilla, I know she's in the upcoming A24 film Civil War. And then Jacob Elordi, awesome guy, dude. Loved him in Saltburn. I guess he's good in Euphoria, which is another A24 show, which I haven't seen, but yeah, his performance in this movie was really good. He really made me hate Elvis. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a 3 star. I think that's fair. Dude, I actually like this a lot. It was genuinely funny to me. I think it had a good combination of action and comedy. I don't think there was too much of either. It all blended well. I didn't think I was gonna like it because the third movie, like, it just felt like a perfect end to a trilogy, especially because this is kind of DreamWorks' biggest film. Like, this just felt like a cash grab to me, but no, it was actually really good. It had a satisfying ending in my opinion, and I didn't feel like it was rushed. Super cool villain too, by the way. I thought the concept was really awesome. I wish that there was more of her though. I just wanted like a few more fight scenes with her. Like, I feel like there wasn't too much. To my family, the movie was predictable, but I didn't see anything coming. I guess they predicted like 2 things right at the beginning that happened at the end, but honestly, it all came as a surprise to me. It was just a good family movie, good movie in general. It's not my favorite DreamWorks movie, but it was pretty good. By the way, the dads are definitely gay. This to me was a 4 stars. Actually, I feel like that might be too high, but I thought it was good for an animated movie, so I'm gonna put it there. Alright dude, props to Carlos. I don't know if you guys want to count this as like a film on its own, because this was kind of a short film, but if you guys have seen the Jumpers Jump podcast, you know who this guy is. He's talked about on his podcast how he wants to get into filmmaking, and I think this is like his first fan film, or first film in general. For a first film, this was pretty damn good. There was definitely some dull moments and like things I caught that I was like, like CGI could be better, whatnot. Just many things I couldn't say that needed work, but you know I have to give credit where credit is due. Carlos knows what he's doing, and he's headed in the right direction. I've been watching him since the Jumpers Jump podcast number 3. Really cool guy. I know like this is just kind of the start. I know he has big plans for some upcoming movies, so props to him, dude. I'm gonna give this a 2.5, honestly. So they released this movie in theaters for the first time in America, so I went to go rewatch it on March 20th. And watching this in theaters was truly an experience like no other. I wish I could experience this again. Like, after I watched it, I immediately wanted to watch it again. Evangelion is one of my favorite things ever. I'm not talking about just as a series of show and movies. I mean, like, as a thing of existence, this is one of my favorite things ever. I've consumed everything there is of Evangelion, and I haven't got enough. It is the supreme series like no other in my opinion, and watching this in theaters was like seriously one of the greatest things. Guys, if you haven't got into Evangelion, it's really confusing. I'll say it right now. There's like 4 or 5 different endings, but this is like the most popular. I dragged my girlfriend to go watch this and she liked it. It's just so good. Like, it really hits. I watched it like in one of the front row seats, so it was like really big and loud. Dune Part 2 in IMAX and Evangelion in theaters, seriously some of the best movie watching experiences. And it happened in the same month, which is crazy to me. I don't know what I gave it my first time watching it, but on this rewatch, 5 stars. Absolute 5 stars. It's such a perfect movie. The fact that it came out in 1997 and still holds up with its story and its animation, it's just like a complete mind-boggling movie. But don't get me started on the voice acting. Dude, the voice acting is just so good. Literally, there was moments in this movie where it literally sent chills down my spine because of how great it was. So awesome. I saw this movie for the first time last summer, and it made me want to skate even more. I had been wanting to watch this movie since it came out, but never did for some reason. I got into skating in late 2020, but I sucked ass. I still do, but when I watched this movie, it really got me back into it, which led to me having a broken ankle. Anyways, this movie means a lot to me. Before I watched it, I knew that I would love it, and I still really do. This is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, and I feel like I can just relate to it a lot. All the characters, not just Stevie, but his brother and Ray too. The way Stevie just wants to fit in and does whatever just to be considered a part of the group, and his love-hate relationship with his older brother is just all so real to me. Everyone is really just as cool as Stevie describes them as. His brother and his friends, man, I could genuinely go on and on about this movie. Every scene was just a masterpiece. It worked perfectly. I wouldn't add or take anything out of this movie. I love the soundtrack too, dude. Don't even get me started on that because it just works so perfect. And the fact that this was directed by Jonah Hill, awesome, dude. Absolutely incredible. There's nothing to hate about this movie. It's just so damn awesome. Of course, this is easy 5 stars to me. I think I am going to put it above Ava. Actually, I want to put it in between one of the Dune movies. Actually, you know what? I am going to put it above Dune because I like Dune as a series, but mid-90s, like I said, is just seriously one of my favorite movies ever. I'm a huge Daft Punk fan. They're genuinely one of my favorite bands ever. I first discovered them way back in elementary school. They were one of the first, and I still like them to this day. But honestly, this movie just wasn't it for me. They've always been so cryptic and mysterious with their personas and music. This movie had some cool visuals and music, as suspected, but it dragged on and eventually led nowhere. It ties into their epilogue video, which I did watch 3 years ago when it first came out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, if you like Daft Punk, give it a watch. It's not a very long movie, but it just kind of drags, and you either get it or you don't get it. If you really like dissect this movie, I'm sure that it could be really cool, but on the outside, it was just alright. You know, I don't know, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I liked it better than Spider-Man Raph, so I can't put it below it. This is something your teacher in elementary school would put on after you read the book. Dog, I was extremely sick, so I put on this movie and it literally felt like 5 hours. I watched it the day prior, like the first 20-30 minutes, and then I decided to finish the rest, but literally I fell asleep like twice. So maybe that's why it felt like 5 hours, but like for some reason this movie just felt so long. And I don't really get on my phone during movies, but for the last 30 minutes I couldn't help but just look at my phone the entire time because this movie it was just so boring to me. Like seriously, this is the corniest thing I've ever watched. On top of that, I don't really mind musicals, but I hate the musical vibe that musical songs have. Like, why do they all sound like that? Literally sounds like it's straight off of Frozen or Hazbin Hotel. Timothée Chalamet carried, of course. Love that guy. I could never hate him. But, dude, this movie was just so stupid. I think, honestly, this might be the worst movie I have seen this year so far. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5. I can't give it a 0 star, half star, 1 star. 1.5 I think is fair. I came to see some monkeys fight, and that's exactly what I got. I'm gonna start off by saying I'm not a fan of high-budget blockbuster movies like this, but the visuals were pretty cool. The CGI was awesome. Also, what was my boy Paperboy doing, cuh? Yo, his ass does not belong in a Godzilla movie. I can only see him as Paperboy. Anyways, I watched a recap of this movie series on YouTube because I haven't really seen the other ones besides the 2014 Godzilla when it came out in theaters. I like Godzilla in general more than Kong, but Kong was kind of a badass, especially with his axe. I gotta give props to the super expressive fight scenes that included zero dialogue. In an age where most fight scenes throw out one-liners every few punches, this was genuinely impressive. The ending felt unnecessarily rushed between the protagonists. Godzilla literally had like 5 minutes of screen time, and then out of the blue they were like, oh hey, Kong, by the way, you know you gotta go fight Godzilla, right? Because this is a Godzilla movie too. And he was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Alright. And they immediately got to brawling. End fight actually felt like a Fortnite live event. Also, when they're in cities, you can really grasp just how large these monsters really are. I didn't notice how big they were at first, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I just gotta conclude this by saying sometimes you don't need a complex lore and expensive CGI to make a good film that can make tons of movie and box office. I'm sure die-hard fans of this series really enjoyed it, like the introduction of the new monsters. I'm sure they're like OG characters. I think I want to start watching like the older Godzilla movies, but yeah, this one was just like, it was just okay. I thought it was cool, but I'm not like a fan of it or anything. So this one I am gonna give like 2.5 too. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here, honestly. I thought it was better than these 3 movies, but yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. Alright, so I know this wasn't really a long video, but I didn't really watch too many movies this month. Next month I will try to watch a little more movies just so that I have more content to talk about, but I try to dive a little deeper into each individual movie just so that I can drag this video on so it's not so short, which I think worked out. I think I said everything I had to say about each movie. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm going to end the video. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss my next upload. I guess that's about it. See ya.